Hey guys, Tim Wilson UK here, and welcome back to another episode from the Golf Club, and it's another real course review, and this time we're doing Winged Foot West. And before I actually get started on this course, I do want to say, just in relation to some comments that I received after doing the last real course review, which was Wolf Creek, that it seems like I apparently did the wrong course or the wrong version of Wolf Creek. Now, I did the one that was being displayed on the golf club in the course list, not the golf club, TGC Tours in the course list, but apparently the one that should be played that is better than what I thought that one was. I only gave it a 5 out of 10, the one that I played, but the one that you should be playing is Wolf Creek, the definitive Friday edition, or the definitive edition Friday, something along those lines. So if you are looking for a better version, which I believe is a better version of Wolf Creek, then search for that one. So what we're doing today is we're doing Winged Foot West. Now, just to give you a little bit of information, Winged Foot is a private club that is in the state of New York, or in New York, at a place, and I do apologise for any mispronunciation of this word or this place, is Mamaroneck, I think is the name of the place. It's two 18-hole golf courses, by virtue of the fact that you can see this is the west course, then the other course is the east course. This is a par 7. It's set up as a par 70 course for most of the major championships. Now, this particular course, the West course, has hosted the US Open 5 times and is also penciled in to host the US Open in 2020. It's also hosted the PGA Championship once. As I say, it's set up as a par 70, and the last major that was held there, which was the US Open in 2006, won by Jeff Ogilvy, had a winning score of 5 over par, which suggests that when it's set up for tournament conditions, it does play pretty tough. So we're going to jump straight into this round. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to render, what sort of detail we've got in this. I don't also have a scorecard, so I can't check the accuracy of the course. I'm just going to see if I can find one while this is loading. In fact, it has loaded up already, but let's have a search for it. Winged Foot West scorecard. Let's see if we can find a scorecard that we can use. So let's have a look. That is a really old scorecard. Just bear with me for a second, guys. I'm just seeing if I can find something. Find a scorecard that I can use. This one may very well be it, but that's set up as a 72, so it doesn't look like I can actually find one. Let's have a look at this one. No, it doesn't look like I can find one, but I'm going to just play this as it is. I'm not going to try and compare it against the real life course, because obviously this has been set up as a par 70, which is for tournament conditions. It looks like, even though they are green, we are playing off the black tees, which is the ones furthest back. Let's have a look at this first hole. It's a par 4, 442 yards, playing 450. Slight dog leg to the left. Not an awful lot of bother here on this opening shot. But got a couple of bunkers flanking the green when we get further down the fairway. So let's get away with this drive. Fairly simple opening hole, I've got to be honest. There's a few trees left and right, but nothing really that's given me any sort of, or would give anybody any sort of headaches. Got 186, 189, that's about right. Let's take a little off of that for the wind. Nice big green, but the flag is set right in the back of this green, and we don't want to be right of the flag, that's for sure. Is that wind going to blow that back in ever so slightly? It's still going to roll around to the right I needed to be shorter and further left. Alright, so this isn't a handicapped course, so we don't have any kind of stroke index to work towards. I'm in the rough, it is the light rough, but I'm in the rough nonetheless. Ooh, almost chipped it in, but these greens are fast, look at that. Wow, that still ran a good few feet past the hole. We've still got 7 feet for par here, so 187, fastest greens in the game. And I've missed that putt. It was uphill, so that's a bogey on the first hole, and that is not a hard hole, but the greens are playing really tough, so I'll have to remember that on the approach into the greens. So wow, you can see why it's playing so tough. What do we play? Yeah, this is playing a 70 on here, so it must be set up for US Open conditions. Let's have a look at this. We've got another fairly simple par 4 here, 450 odd yards. This course does have one of the longest par 4s in US Open history, so I'm not sure what hole that is, but this one's 450, 452, which is quite long as par 4s go. We need to try and hug the left-hand side of the fairway here. That's not a great shot. I wonder if I've got an angle on the flag. Looks like it's enough. 287, so we're still going to have 170 to the flag. 160, 164, 160, still 167. Greens are playing fast, so I'm going to take a little bit off of this. Let's see where the pin position is. Got to make sure I do get it to the green. But when it's there, it's going to roll a fair amount. Is that going to stop in time? No, it's going to roll. Look at the roll you get. And that was a fairly lofted club. It's coming back a little. Which would suggest I'm going to have... Wow, look at this. How much is that going to roll? That went a good sort of 10 feet past the flag and it's rolled all the way back. And that was nice to actually get the birdie there and pull that shot back after dropping it on the first hole. Let's play this next hole here. This is a really, really long par 3, 254 yards. Let's play this hole and then I'll give you my opening sort of impressions of the course. It is really well laid out. I mean, it's a simple course, but it's tough in itself. It really is tough. I mean, I think it's the length of the holes that make it really difficult. And we've got 254 yards here. 250. What it is still 254. I am half tempted to drop down to a 5-wood here and try and get it to run up onto the green, purely because of the fact that it is going to run out if I use the 3-wood. Yeah, see, that was the 5-wood, and that is going to be... That is the club to use on this hole. It's going to leave me a long putt, but I think I'd rather have that. I mean, and I've got a lot of uphill on there. It's moving quite a lot. Let's move it over a little. 24 feet, 9 inches. Giving it a hit. Don't think it's enough. Should be able to pick up the par. We have picked up the par, so that is level par through 3 holes. And I've got to be honest, first 3 holes I've got 3 different scores. I've got a bogey, a birdie, and a par. So pretty much everything apart from an eagle and a hole in one. Well, hole in one is actually an eagle on a par 3. Apart from an eagle, I've got everything I can possibly get there. Let's have a look at these par 4s here. There's one at 468, 475. There we go, the 9th hole, 512 yard par 4. So that must be the hole that plays really, really long for the Opens. My opening gambit for this is I really like this. It's not overly complicated. It's not anything fussy. It's a really nice course. And it probably plays pretty much as you see it here on the screen. So I can't compare it to anything because I don't know the course, but it's really well laid out. It's not got overly fussy elevation changes. It's tough. It's a simple course, but it plays really tough. The length of the holes is really what gives it its difficulty rating. 468 on this one as well, so another long hole. And because there's not a massive amount of change in elevation, so in other words the fairways aren't dropping away dramatically, we're not getting a lot of roll, we're not getting a lot of distance. You know, I'm not hitting 300 yards on these drives, that's still only 283, which means I'm having to take a long iron into the green, which means potentially you struggle to actually get it to slow down before it reaches the hole. And that's where the major problem comes in, is that because the greens are so fast, it runs straight past the hole. So let's see if I can pull this in really short and get a lot of roll on this. So that was 181, and that's going to stop within about 8 feet. So probably a little shy, but it's the right side of the hole. Let's see if we can pick up a birdie here. No, just burns the edge and drops away at the death, but it's still a par. And we're about to hit the first of the par 5s. Now if you compare the yardage on this hole, 522 yards for a par 5, that's relatively short for a par 5. And it's only 10 yards longer than the par 5 9th hole. So that shows you how difficult that par 4 is when we get to the end of the front 9. Didn't really do an overhead on this one. Let's have a quick look at it when we get to this next shot. Looked like it had a slight dog leg to the left. Let's zoom out. Yeah, slight dog leg to the left. And this hole is massively guarded by bunkers all the way around, front, left and right. And the pin position is going to make this really difficult to attack, because look at that pin position right in the front of the green. It's 229 yards with a little bit of elevation. You can't run it up to the green. You can't roll it up to the green because it's got like a slight false front on it there, and this is a really narrow section. So the only way to really do this is to go long and then putt back, but I'm really reluctant to do that. I want to see if I can run it up through that gap. The likelihood is I'm going to end up in the bunker, or I'm going to end up short. I actually hit that 96%, so it's probably going to hold up in the rough. It has done. I would have been smack bang in the bunker there if I'd hit it right anyway, so the rough's probably the little bit of a better option, or the lesser of two evils. I will take that. That is pretty decent for a flop shot from there. It checked up quite nicely. You'll have to excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of my cup of tea. I have my usual cup of tea while I'm doing a course review. And we have another par 4, and this is a short one, so this is 325 yards. You'd probably get almost near the green, or fairly near the green, if you had the wind behind. We've got a slight drop in elevation, really narrow entrance to the green. It's an L-shaped green, but the pin is in the widest, pretty much the widest part of the green. Not so difficult to attack this pin position where it is at the moment. If it was back here, it would be really difficult because it's the narrowest part of the green and you're playing over a bunker. But let's get this hole underway. We should be able to get it. It is slightly downhill. We do have a headwind, so we should be able to get around about 285 yards. Let's have a quick look. Got a good flight on this one. 40, 50, 60. It's going to be about 280. There we go, 282. So that's only going to leave a short pitch into this green. And as I said, we've got a lot of green to play with here. I want to try and get this to check up. Ooh, that was so close. It almost checked up and spun back into the hole. That was almost a perfect pitch shot. So that's another birdie. Fairly easy hole that. I would probably say so far that would be my stroke 18. Nothing really to worry you there. That pin position is really accessible. We got a real bad false front on this green here, so we definitely don't want to be short. It could help us, to be fair. You know, if you pitch the ball here, it will jump up quite sharply but then come to rest quite quickly. So it may help us. We have the wind behind. 168, 172 with the wind behind. I'm going to try and bring this in a little short and see if it helps. I'm going to try and bang it into that bank. It's a little left. It's going to kick left as well. Hopefully it's going to catch that bank and drop down to the right. It is. It's going to leave me about 10, 11 feet, I would have thought. 9 feet, that's okay. Not a lot of change in elevation. Bit of a swing from right to left. Really quick, these greens at 187. It's quite a tough hole. But really, this is what I regard as a thinking man's course, and it is right up my street. I love these kind of courses. It doesn't take a lot of bunkers, doesn't take a lot of trees, doesn't take water or anything to give you that much of a headache. But you know, just make the yardage right. The yardage and the I don't mind a fast green. I really don't mind a fast green, as long as it doesn't have really stupid slopes on it. And these are really good. And this is going to be a tough shot because you have to try and take on some of this corner, but not run out of fairway. So let's see what we can do. Now with my natural fade, that wind should straighten the ball out. Hopefully hold on to this fairway. 476 yards, so this is another long par 4. It's still going to be almost 200 yards into the green. 174, let's have a look at the green. Now it looks like there's a couple of levels to this green. Another sloping front, so another false front, so it would be good to land it below the hole. We don't want to be putting back down the hill, but it's always difficult to land it below the hole, especially when the flag is towards the front of the green. 171, 172. I'm going to take a fair chunk off of this and see if I can come up shy. That could be pretty good. Is it going to hit that front? It's not even going to get there. But that worked out okay. As it slowed up, it's still not slowed up enough. Mind you, that is almost pin high, purely because of the fact that it deviated across to the left. It's going to be a tough putt, this one. It's going to swing from left to right. Uphill. Didn't give it enough beans. If I had given it enough beans, it looked like the line was pretty good. But that's another par. We stay at 2 under par for the round. As I say, these real course reviews aren't about the score really. It's about establishing whether I think it's a good course. I mean, and that's why I do them. You know, whether you guys actually take on board what I say is entirely up to you. I thoroughly enjoyed doing them. And this is this long par 4. I mean, from a difficulty perspective, I mean, look, you can't get much of a straighter hole than that. But playing into this green, you wayward, and you are going to be in trouble. You're going to be in all sorts of bother. There is bunkers all around here. The green's got a fair amount of slope on it as well. We can see a lot of yellow and red sections on there. Pins in a fairly accessible position. So let's see what we get from a drive perspective. We've got no bother on the drive here. I want to try and hug the right hand side. Let's have a quick look again. No, do I want to hug the right hand side? No, I want to hug the left hand side. So I'm not playing into the green over a bunker. Got to be a little bit cautious of the wind. But that should be nice and straight. And that should give me a good line straight down towards that green. Now that's almost 300 yards, but we've got 214 yards to this green. So you can see it is absolutely monstrous, this hole. 211, call it 210. I want to take a fair chunk off of this. The wind keeps changing direction. And I haven't hit it 100% because I really don't want it to be too long. That slope didn't take anything out of it. If I'd have hit that 100%, it would have gone way out of the back of the green. Even saying that it's gone out the back, but it would have gone even further. So this is a really, really tough hole, and I think this is definitely a stroke index 1. And it's all about yardage. There's nothing really that tough about this hole. It is just about the yardage. Now, this is a difficult flop shot because if it spins back too much, we could end up coming back down this slope. I've put a fair amount of spin on this. Have I hit it enough? Yep. It's checked up nicely. Should give me about 4 or 5 feet for par. That is a tough hole. That is definitely the toughest hole on the front nine. And that brings the front nine to a close. My overall opinion for this course so far through 9 holes is I absolutely love it because, as I said when I came into the 9th hole, it doesn't need any kind of elevation change, massive dog legs, huge hazards or anything like that to make it difficult. It's all about the yardage, and it is really, really a thinking man's golf course. I shouldn't say thinking man, I should say thinking person's golf course. And with that being said, I am thoroughly enjoying it. It is really, really, really good golf course so far. How it renders in relation to the real course, I would imagine this is pretty much bang on, but I would be interested to hear from you guys if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know, let me know whether in the comments box, let me know whether it is accurate in comparison to the real course. If you're watching live on Twitch now, also if you've played Winged Foot or you know more about Winged Foot than I do, give me some input. Tell me how accurate this is in relation to the real course. I am absolutely loving this course so far. So another fairly long par 3, not as the tour goes. I mean, obviously a long par 3 is sort of 230, 240 on the tour. This is just over 200 yards. For me, playing the local courses, this would be a long par 3. 206 yards. I'm going to drop this down to the 4 iron purely because of the fact that I know that this ball's going to roll a fair amount. Nice swift strike there. Is it going to hold the green? Because I know that it fades away there. Is the ball going to roll round to the right? Yes, a little bit more, and it may have even rolled up to the flag, but that's pretty good. It's not downhill here by the looks of it. It is swinging from left to right. 13 feet. Don't want to blast it past the hole. That's okay. Don't think I've birdied any of the par threes yet, and that's a good sign for showing a decent par three, because you have to play them incredibly well. Let's have a look. So the third is a par three, parred that. The seventh is a par three, parred that, and the 10th. Yeah, so that's a good sign of a good par three. So we move on to the 10th hole. We have another fairly short par four, sub 400 yards. Little quirky fairway here that is flanked by a bunker left and right, so it almost gives you like a chicane type feel. I would imagine we're not going to be driving through that gap. We're probably going to be playing short of that right hand bunker, so short of this bunker here, and then playing into the green. I wouldn't imagine we can get to this area here, but let's have a quick look. When we take the driver down there, no, we're not going to be making it down that far. I was a little hesitant on that backswing, and that's why I think I got 99%, and that's probably going to mean that I'm going to run out of fairway, which I am, which is going to make this shot quite difficult. I was sort of thinking about the elevation change when I was on the backswing, which made me hesitate a bit, and that's why I ended up with 99%. Alright, so we've got 92 yards, but we do have the rough to contend with, so let's leave it where it is. That came out, felt pretty good. Is it going to stop? Now, that is the difference between hitting the fairway and not hitting the fairway. Is the difference between getting it within 4 or 5 feet and getting it within 22 feet. And this is a nightmare putt because it races downhill, 7 inches downhill, 22 feet right to left. I'm just going to get this rolling and let the slope do the work. I would imagine it stopped at 20 feet, that's okay. I was waiting for the drop, I couldn't see, but I did see that it slowed up at 20 feet, so we're in for a par. 2 really tough holes well, I made it tough for myself. That par 4 11th is not a tough hole. I made it tough for myself by being in the rough. And look at this now, a monstrous par 5, 647 yards on the scorecard, playing 640 yards. Let's have a look at this from the air. It's a dog leg left, but it's not a stupid dog leg. It is not a 90 degree, it's a gradual turn. We are not going to be getting there in 2 anyway, not at 640 yards, but I want to give myself a good shot of getting it down the fairway, a fair stretch on the second shot. So let's put it so we are on the right hand side of this fairway to try and open it up as much as possible. I've got the driver. Ooh, I've pushed that. That could be trouble down the right. Is it going to hold the fairway? Only just. If I'd have actually meant to do that, that would have been really good. I didn't. That was fortuitous. It's given us a 6 iron, and that's all to do with the waypoints. We want a 3 wood here. We want to bang this down the fairway. Don't think that's going to reach that bunker anyway. Now let's take it over to the left a little more just in case. That looks pretty good. It's going to come down under the tree. Yep, and it's rolled over to the right. And where is the pin? Back right by the looks of it. That was 96% power, so it could have been a little better than that. So this is pretty much bang on the yardage. We've got 134. How much slope have we got? Not a lot. It's 134. Is that going to come up shy? It should bounce a little, so I'm going to leave it at 132. Made sure I got it at 100%. It's going to bounce, and then it should stop, and it didn't. It was still long. Right, what have we got here? We got 4 yards, and it then goes downhill. I don't want to chip this. But this is a horrible, horrible flop shot. 4 yards. There's no way I was going to come up short. It's so difficult to stop it. That's going to leave me a good 10 feet putt, I think. 10 feet. I've been really scared of these putts on this. That 187 scares me because I know how fast they are. And all these uphill putts I've been coming up short on. And that is a bogey. That's a bogey. I didn't even realise that I'd actually taken 6 shots there. Where did I drop a shot? First shot? Second shot was the... Wow, I didn't even realise I'd taken a bogey there. That's back to 1 under. Another par 3. Let's see if we can break the trend of the par 3s. Let's have a look at it from above. Once again, a really long green, but the pin is right in the beginning, but it slopes massively off to the right. So we need to be coming in around about here and let the ball feed. Mind you, it's not going to feed that much because it's uphill. So we don't want to be landing it too short because otherwise it's not going to get to the flag. 198, 197. We need to take a fair chunk off of this, otherwise it is not going to slow down. I don't think it's still going to... I think that's still going to be long. What to do? What to do? Let's play. Pulled that massively. That's not even going to catch the slope. It's not even going to hit the green. Oh, what a bounce. It's going to be massively long. It's probably even going to run out the side. Is it? Is that going to come back again? Look at the roll on this. So that got a kick from the left. You know what? That's not going to be a million miles away from the flag. You just see the flag coming into the picture there. So that bounced off the bank on the left, rolled all the way over to the right, caught the bank on the right, and then rolled down towards the flag. That's an insane green, and that is a lucky, lucky break. That could have been in all sorts of trouble. Now let's not be so shy on this one. I've hit that one a little harder. It's still short. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. It's supposed to be fast. 187. It's another par on the par 3. 452 yard par 4. Let's have a look at this one from above. This is a nice setting. We're teeing off from inside the shadows of the trees, so this is really cool. Another dog leg to the left. Really narrow landing area, I would imagine, on the fairway, which mind you, we're probably going to land around about here, so that bunker may come into play if you're a little bit wayward on the drive. And then we've got a green that has a really narrow funnel feeding in, bunkers left and right. Let's have a look at the slope on the green. We're playing it uphill again, and it once again sloping left to right. Quite a massive slope on the left there, but there's not an awful lot on the line of the flag. But let's get this drive underway. We are driving into this fairly narrow area here. That should be okay. Should be 280-ish. 276. So that's going to give me 174 into this flag. 171. No elevation change. Little bit of wind, not a lot to speak of. I'm going to take a bit off of this club because I want it to roll up to the flag. Hit that one nice and straight. Is it going to be too short though? I have a funny feeling it is. And it, oh no, that was woefully short. So this is going to prove difficult now. I need to make sure I get this nice and close. 14 yards. That'll do. Don't spin back too much. Left edge. Bang. Alright, so we're still only 1 under par, so that's testament to the difficulty of the course. I'm not saying I'm the best player out there, but I can definitely hold my own when I do play the golf club. So it is testament to how difficult this course actually plays. Now this is an interesting hole because we have this elevation change here. You can see the slope on the fairway just there, which means that if you do take a driver, you're probably going to run out the bottom and potentially even end up in this ditch, which is horrible, which forces you to take a shorter club, which means you're probably going to take a 3 or a 5 wood. You probably want to be on the left hand side to attack that pin. Anything down on the right here, you could be in bother from the trees, but it's going to be a fairly short iron into the green, and that is because of the fact that we have only 421 yards here. Really difficult. You really have to give it some thought. I still think a 3 wood may be too long. I'm going to play it anyway. Let the wind bring that back in. It's over the slope and it's going to roll down. Is it going to stop? No, you see, and that was just down to the slope. So this is what makes the hole hard, is that we have now 151, which isn't a long stretch to the flag, but it's actually playing 150 yards, but we are playing out of the rough, which makes it really, really tough. And that came out massively left. Wind's blowing it back in a bit. It's not gonna, is it gonna catch the slope? It has caught the slope, so that could end up okay. That's still going to be 15-20 feet from the flag, 21 feet and downhill, so we've got to be a little careful here. Good roll, not too far past the hole. That should be a par. So I've made a couple of errors here by hitting the rough, which makes it really difficult to take advantage of these short par fours. I think it was one that was roughly, you know, well, what was the one I messed up before? 380 yards. You can see this back nine is, even though there's some really, really tough holes in here, and I haven't birdied a single one. I bogeyed a hole, but I haven't birdied a single one on the back nine. And we're about to hit the 16th, which is another long par 4. It's 476 yards. Fairly tough dog leg here because you want to make sure you're in a good position off the tee. There is some really close big trees here, so you want to make sure that you're not giving yourself a blind shot into the green for your second or your approach shot. That's a little bit, sorry guys, that's a little bit choppy there. And look at the bunkers around this green. They're absolutely humongous. And once again, sort of a funnel that around the front edge of the green. I'm going to try and take on as much of this tree as I can. No, no, I've pushed it. This is horrific. Oh no, this is going to be a horrible hole now. That was terrible. I completely pulled that shot. Now I need to try and get this further down the fairway. I don't want to play a pitch shot. I want to play a punch shot. I want to play with a 4-iron. Let's see if I can get it out. Can I get further down here? Let's have a look. Yeah, let's see if I can get it out here with this punch shot. No, not at all. So, this is absolutely disastrous. I need to now try and bring this in from the left. I'm going to club up here. It's still heavy rough. And that's still not on the green, is it? Is it? Is it? No. So I need to get this in for par. Absolute nightmare of a hole. I have made a complete hash of this. But you know what, guys? I've still got a smile on my face. I love this course. Don't come back too much. I don't want a really tough bogey putt. Okay, luckily enough, it's not too bad. And I had to make sure I hit that one. That's a bogey. I'm level par through 16 holes. I can't believe it. All right, on to the 17th hole. You could probably hear it in my voice, guys. I'm absolutely loving this. I've just hit a bogey, another bogey, but I'm absolutely loving this course. I really, really am. I need to make sure that this comes back into the fairway, but the wind should blow that. Let's have a look at the overhead. It is a dog leg to the right. It's a par 4. It's 453 yards. A little bit of change in elevation. It drops away as we get closer towards the hole. Once again, bunkers left and right. The designer of this course, who actually, for those of you that don't know, I did have a little bit of a look at the history of the course. I mean, this is an old course. It's been around. It's been open since 1923. And the guy that designed this course also designed Bethpage Black, which I believe is also in the New York area. So there are some similarities between this and Bethpage Black, and you can actually see that when you play it. There is a little bit more change in elevation on Bethpage Black because there's some really sort of high greens and whatnot, but there are some similarities. I mean, the bunker situation is quite similar. 145, 153. I'm going to play this club. This wind should bring this back in. I want to even take a little bit off it just to see if I can get it to stop. It is a fairly short club. It's an 8-iron. It's a lofted club. Is that wind going to bring that in? It did. Is it now going to stop? No. Even an 8-iron didn't check up. Downhill. You know what? I'm gonna just putt this. That's a little downhill. It's moving from the right. Stop. Stop, 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 stop! Wow, that's a tough putt. 5 feet. Ooh, par save. Wow, level par. I can see why the pros shoot, 5 over, I think that winning score was on the last US Open in 2006. That back nine's horrific. 3 birdies, 3 bogeys in the round. Let's have a look at this last hole. We've got another long par 4, 450 yards, another dog leg to the left. We have this bunker here guarding the drive, so we've got to be a little bit mindful of that when we're driving the ball here on this hole. Let's swing this round. Let's zoom out. And then we've got a steep front on this green. Not a lot in the way of bunker protection here. Front left, but look at the slope on the front of this green. You definitely want to be over it. Somewhere down here. And mind you, we've got a slope at the back that's guarding it, but this is going to be a tough hole. That bunker definitely comes into play here. I'm hoping that wind's going to straighten my drive out. Yeah, that's okay, and that should let me look straight down the throat of the green, which it does. 162 yards. Playing 159, that is with the roll, and I definitely want to be on the left. Oh, this is a tough one. Take a little more off of it. It's not going to slow. I know it's not going to slow down. 99% as well. I hope it's going to have enough beans to get there. It is. It's going to kick forward. That's the problem with hitting the slope. And that is going to roll and roll and roll, and that's going to be a monstrous putt. I would imagine this is going to be, it's still rolling, 40, 50 feet at the moment. This is when you hope it rolls off the green. That's going to be humongous. 40 feet at 1 foot uphill. So if I get a birdie here, it will be an absolute bloody miracle. I've hit it fairly hard. It is 1 foot uphill, and that's going to be about 4 feet from the hole, so I can't really grumble with that because that was fairly good from 40 feet. And I top it off with a par, but look at this for a back nine. 7 pars, 2 bogeys, finish with a level round of 70. And even though that would normally disappoint me in a weekly tournament, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that course, and I would recommend that to anyone. So let's get on to scoring this course. Come on, there we go. Alright, let's have a look. I am going to give this course, what shall I give it? You know what, my face actually aches from smiling while playing that course, and for that reason I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. An 8.5 out of 10 purely because of the fact that I didn't tear it up. It was well laid out, it was manicured beautifully, the greens, the fairways, the rough even was, you know, fantastic. You can just see it on the right hand side there, you know, the fringe, the light rough, the heavy rough. It was just really, really nice. It's a simple course, but it plays so hard, and I would love to see this course used in one of the tours that I'm playing on this year. But I would imagine that it would probably be too tough for the amateur tours. It's probably going to be used in the PGA or the European tour. But guys, I thoroughly enjoyed playing this. If you enjoyed watching this video and you've watched it on YouTube, then feel free to hit that like rating, and if you'd like to leave some comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from this series, I will be doing some more. I've got some more courses on my list to actually do real course reviews on. So if you'd like to see more, hit the subscription button, which should be in the bottom right hand corner. But until next time guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, see you soon, bye bye.